Alright, today's video, fifth of 7, comparing showdowns in 3 poker cities, like Elsinore, California, Las Vegas, Nevada, and as the high roller is right there. Is it moving? Yeah, you can't tell, but it is moving a little bit. What's the other city? As people start kind of showing up off in the distance. Council Bluffs, so showdowns. Vegas doesn't have a ton. Vegas has a lot of hands. I'm putting the numbers up on the screen, and I will look at my phone to actually see what they are at the end. So I will give you my prediction, so to speak, and then I will look at my phone and actually see if I was right. So I would have to say Vegas is 3rd out of 3 cities. So many hands in pre-flop, so many hands end with a C-bet on the flop, so many hands. If they're straddled, everyone folds and the straddler just wins uncontested. So Vegas has to be 3. I'm wondering, showdowns. You know, I would expect California and Council Bluffs to be pretty similar because an all-in is a showdown. So every all-in must be a showdown. And then all the other hands. Yeah, there's not a ton of like huge river bluffs. You know, people will raise flops with, you know, combo draws, just flush draws, open-enders. They raise with a pair to see where they're at. But there's not a ton of, like, huge river bluffs. And both places are, every place I played was 300 max. So it's not like MGM Uncapped where, you know, Herbs and Rye sits with like $5,000. And if someone happens to win a ton of hands and get up to like 1,500, there's like a ton of money still left on the river to bluff. And you could get river folds via bluffs and avoid a showdown. In Council Bluffs in Lake Elsinore, I mean, you're there with 300, yeah, you win hands, your stack builds a little, but still, it's not like you're crazy deep at any point. So if money's going in on the flop and on the turn, pre-flop and flop and turn, there's like not a ton left on the river. You know, you bet the river, it's often not so much that, you know, people who are in that deep are willing to fold at that point. So it's not like a ton of bluffing goes on or a ton of successful bluffing goes on. So I would say Vegas definitely 3rd, and no edge between California and Council Bluffs. I would expect them to have about the same amount of showdowns. So I don't even remember if it was out of 50 or 100 hands. It was out of 50 hands. So California 18, Council Bluffs 21, Vegas 16. So Council, I got that way wrong. So Council Bluffs was number 1, and there was actually a bigger gap between Council Bluffs and California than between California and Vegas. So I'm trying to remember what those tables were like now, so that I got my prediction so wrong that California didn't have a ton of showdowns. I don't know, I guess there were just like a lot of people don't fold pre or on the flop. I guess there were a lot of turn bets where, you know, people had like a gutter on the flop and then decided to give it up, or, you know, they had bottom pair on the flop, didn't turn their trips and decided to give it up. And how did Vegas have that many showdowns? That guy in seat 5 who was very active, I guess he got to showdown a ton of the hands he played. After he left, it died down pretty good. And why was Council Bluffs so much? I don't know. I guess a lot of hands, you know, very multi-way pre and flop. I think it's just, and then, you know, people slowed down. Check, check on the turn, check, check on the river. I think this is just seeing the phenomenon of it being a small sample, because I would not expect this over many, many trials. But in this one, Council Bluffs had the most, beat Lake Elsinore by 3, and Lake Elsinore only beat Vegas by 2. So I got that prediction way off. Bound to happen. Things don't always happen as you expect. Hope you enjoyed the high roller wheel. I'm going to turn around and look at it so that I can put recommended videos up on the screen as time kind of just goes by for a few seconds.